Okay, everybody, so this is our technically first recorded episode, so what I want everybody to do so far is to say your actual name and then give a little description of your character. I am the DM, Alexander Kaiser, and this is my horrible shit show, George.
Hi, I'm George. I'm a dwarven, mountain dwarf cleric.
And Chinese.
Yes.
Yeah. What is just anything about your cleric you want us to know? Okay, Tom.
Mystery dwarf.
Hello, I am Tom. And I am playing an orc paladin. He was basically left by his tribe, half murdered, and swore an oath of vengeance because, that's how orcs do. They try to kill you, you try to kill them back.
Oh.
Yes.
Does he have a name?
Oh, he is Graak.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yes.
Cool. I'm Alejandro, and I am going to be playing the future. He is a dwarf wizard who believes he is a living piece of the time stream trying to get back. Back to the future.
Oh no! Trademark! We're already sued!
That copyright violation.
Yeah, he believes that...
He's looking for Marty.
Yeah.
It's alright. He have an Aussie accent. They can't
he believes that if he can't get back to where he belongs, something bad will happen, but he also might just be a crazy dwarf who took too many mushrooms, so...
Okay.
That's my theory.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, I'm Wednesday, and I'm playing a tiefling warlock named Acatha Vadoma. She's a urchin who joined the gypsies and was a fortune teller and belly dancer. And I have a pact with a fiend that I call Uncle Ben. His real name's Gromhan. And he gave me some charming things. I have a really high charisma score, so he helped me out with that.
You can straight up look at a dude and they just get tighter in the pants.
They just give me money. Yeah. I've got sugar daddies.
And then once he dies, she can be Spider-Man.
Okay.
He's open that.
Oh no! With great power comes great responsibility.
So he's actually offered me more power, so I've left my troop of gypsies, and I'm trying to gain more experience through life so that he can bestow more gifts upon me.
Okay. So
we both seek strongness.
Yes.
I think we shall get along fine.
Alright, so you're all starting in a tavern for the organization which y'all signed up for to get experience and money. You signed up for a group, you are known as ACES, which stands for... I fucking lost it in my notes. I can't believe I fucking forgot what these are called. Okay.
Action crew experience something.
No. ACES stand for Active Community Elite Security.
Can I just call it asses?
No. We don't get to call it. You're an ass. Your character is just an ass.
Yeah, the mystery character is actually... not a mystery at all. He's an asshole.
Yeah, and you're staying in a tavern specifically for and caters to ACES, known as the Flailing Goblin. Now,
wait, that's the name of the tavern?
Yeah.
That is fucking awesome.
Now, the interesting thing about this tavern is that it sets in a setting where it's a giant melding pot, and I actually call this place a Megatropolis because it's multiple cities connected to each other via roads. They basically just built up and, became interconnected. And you were in Lowtown, which is the town known as Meager Beginnings. Everybody kind of starts there. It's also the biggest melding pot. The interesting thing is that,
level 1.
Yeah, we're all level 1, so you started this level 1 quest hub. The interesting thing about this is, this is kind of a melding pot in the fact that instead of chasing out the hordes of goblins or roving bands of orcs, or elves, you just kind of integrated them into society and it became everybody's cool with each other. So you can be walking down the street and you'll see an orc bartering with a gnoll who's trying to scam a goblin who works for an ogre, who pays rent to a human.
And is married to a tiefling.
Is married to a gnome. That hot ogre gnome sex. I don't really... Do they rub? But So
Do they wear the hat?
Yes.
G-Dog.
So the Flailing Goblin Inn has many different patrons. You see a goblin rolling dice with an ogre in the corner. You see a dwarf drinking with a tiefling, or a lizard folk just trying to canoodle a gnome. Like
Canoodling.
yeah, canoodling. And
That sounds dirty. Is it?
I think
I
it
want it to
might
be
be.
dirty. I want it to
Like
be
my-
dirty.
yeah, it's super dirty. You could like there. It's just the tension around the lizard folk and gnome is pretty high. I mean, they're
Thick
both
and sexual.
they're both pretty cute dudes, and they're just like.
One's sweating, like
Yeah,
he's
well-
nervous.
Yeah, the lizard is sweating somehow.
But lizards don't have sweat pores.
Shut up!
Guess one does.
Anyway, so...
So does it just leak?
Shut up! Gross. Anyway, so the Flailing Goblin Inn is actually run by goblins. The owners of the Flailing Goblin Inn is a patron-matron combo known as Measle and Quazzle.
Of course.
They might be related. We don't know. And you basically signed up as to be a member of ACES, but the thing is, when you have bigger groups like this, the government actually gives you a fifth member, and you're kind of waiting for them. You don't really know them. You've only heard of his name, and his name is Kieg.
We kind of don't know each other either. We're just
No.
kinda-
Well, you kind of, like, the thing is, like,
We met once.
you met once during your your starting tests, and now you're together.
during the
and-
hour before this recording.
Yeah, y'all met an hour before this fucking episode. So, that being said, you just met each other, you kind of know each other, you know when you're in a group, and you're now co-workers, and you're waiting for your fifth member, Kieg. Kieg, it's around noon, like, people are starting to come in, and there's either fucking off work, or, you know, just getting drunk for the sake of it, especially dwarves, fuck them, they get
Hitting
drunk
on
all the time.
gnomes.
Yeah, what?
Hitting on gnomes.
Yeah, hitting on gnomes, because apparently those weird big-eared and big noses are like the fad of the year. So you're waiting for your fifth member, and, you know, you're drinking, you're getting to know each other. Like, one of your party members, the dwarf cleric, looks a little shifty. You don't know why, you just get this air of shifty.
I think both the dwarves look a little shifty to me.
Alright, so one dwarf looks shifty, the other starts to smell a little weird, like moss and mushrooms and shit.
Yeah, no, I imagine that the future just smells like a basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, dingy damn basement. And after a while, you see the door open and a rather large, towering figure just walks through the door. He's like 7.5 foot fucking tall. He's ripped as shit. Like
I'm
he's
instantly
muscular.
aroused.
Yeah, he's muscled as fuck. He is the swollest boy you've ever done seen. He is a big old bugbear. Which, if none of y'all know what a bugbear is,
Shorty.
imagine a bear human, but not with really long arms. Their arms are long as shit, like down to their fucking knees.
And they're goblinoids.
Yeah, and they're goblinoids. They're the largest goblinoids. Good for you. You know things.
Sounds like someone I'm dating.
Yeah, right?
I know why
So-
I'm following him.
I always thought bugbears were like bear people, but with like the pill bug kind of like.
I just kind of...
No,
now
just
I
imagine
have this-
large, hairy goblins.
I imagine a Care Bear with bug wings. Like, fucking,
That's
anyway.
when you said bugbear. That's what I imagined before I like.
Oh, it's got little butterfly wings.
Yeah, no, I imagine like like bumblebee wings where they're way too small, so there's no way they should
And
possibly
they
be able.
fly
to...
anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like
you hear a
Yeah.
buzz noise and you're like, is that a fly? No, it's just
It's
a
less,
bumble
it's
bear.
less
Yeah.
a buzz, more like thunder.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's a big-ass
yeah,
bear.
it's 7 feet tall.
So you notice this bugbear. He's lightly dressed. Like he's actually like shirtless. He's got like gi pants, like, you know, like a karate gi pants. And you notice that he's got really thick wrist bangles on his like rim on his wrist. Yeah, wrist bangles go on face. So
So he's got like arm rings,
yeah,
like
big,
a Viking.
thick arm rings.
like
They're
Viking?
almost manacles. They're almost like manacles, like kind of like Viking-ish.
Are there
but-
chains? Do we need to be worried? Are there chains attached?
No, there are no
Okay.
chains attached to it.
Look, I just broke out of prison. I just need a job, man.
And you notice him lean over to the female goblin matron, Quazzle, who generally like takes in admissions. Like, oh, somebody walks in, you talk to Quazzle, they'll assign you to a room or get you to a table. Anyway,
Find
he
you
leans
a
over.
sexy gnome to sit with.
Yeah, but he leans over and he talks to Quazzle, and Quazzle's just like, whatever, flailing her arms, doing what goblins do. Like, and she points over at you guys. And over walks this big-ass fucking bugbear who has, like, you kind of have the stereotype that bugbears are, like, kind of, like, stooped and have, like, a lazy demeanor. Like, they're like, oh, God, why am I doing this? But this one's different. He's standing tall. He's standing proud. He's got a lot of confidence about him. And you think he could kick the shit out of everybody in this bar.
Okay.
This dude is fucking rich. So he walks over to you guys. He looks at all of you and he says, like, you're the Aces group, right? Like, you just got assigned and you're just waiting for somebody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he gets everybody. Hi. He just looks at you and be like,
10 minutes later, he's like,
I said
Hello.
hi.
hello! No, it's just,
Not hi.
when you say hi, he just goes and looks at you and goes, Anyway, so he then takes something from his pocket and he, like, throws it on the table. It kind of clatters and it's dramatic. And it's a government symbol for the Aces. This is your 5th member, Kieg. Kieg is a big-ass fucking bugbear monk, and he's ready to kick the shit out of everything for you. And he looks at all of you, and he goes, "This is who I'm assigned to." All right. Does anybody want to, like, ask him anything or do any sort of checks and look at him or whatever the fuck?
Can I call you Tiny?
No! He looks at you and he's just like, no. He just gives he already can tell that this is going to be a terrible life for him. Anyway, so he sits down, like, at the table and he orders a drink, and this isn't like, a sissy man's drink. This is like fucking tankard that literally looks like a miniature barrel for him. And
is it his own personal, stein?
Yeah, kind of. Like,
okay.
Like, it's like he might be well known, like, one of the bar matrons, a short halfling, just carries it in her arms and it's fucking awful, and he just leans down and takes it. He says thank you, and just starts drinking.
Pats her on the head.
Yeah, you can already smell that this is, like, the most potent alcoholic drink you can probably find anywhere near here.
And I'm right next to it.
And your nose is just in it, like, because you're a dwarf, and you're like, yes! Half!
The dwarf side of me is trying to get at it.
This is so much better than the mushroom slurry I used to drink. And so he sits down and he asks, like, do you guys have any questions? Because I know you're a newly formed band of Aces.
Where are you from?
I am from the Administorius. It's the Administorius is essentially the administrative government in the center of this big super city, in the location known as Keystones. Keystones. Let me explain how this city works. It's essentially a bunch of different cities and biomes that built around each other and kind of, like, encapsulated each other, like, in a giant wall. And then built inward, so everything's kind of super interconnected. You know that there are roads going from many different cities within this megatropolis. You are currently, again, in the city of Lowtown. And towards the center of Lowtown, as you get further north, is the center city of Keystones, where all the centralized government is. A lot of people like to think it's, like, the rich part of town, because, well, a lot of people in the government just happen to be a little wealthy. He is from the Administorium, which is in the center of Keystones.
I thought it was the Administorius.
Shut the fuck up. Administorius. I'm new at this. This is bad This is already bad radio. Cut the mic. We're done.
I'm glad you were paying attention because I got it spaced out a little bit.
It's okay. So the Administorium, whatever. Bad notes.
He's cute, but he talks a lot. This bugbear, huh?
Well, he's only just answering questions. Anything else?
What size shoe do you wear?
16. I guess.
More like a 40.
40 in bugbear.
Is that like European? Like European sizing?
No, I've got a size 4 in bugbear. Those are baby shoes for bugbears. Meanwhile, they're bigger than a dwarf head. Like, anyway, so he sits down and says, I am there are a few assignments as aces, and what essentially aces do, if you didn't listen to the seminar when you first started, aces pretty much pick up the slack that guards can't. Like, guards are essentially like dudes who, and you heard this during the introduction of becoming an ace. You are meant to be government. You're government assigned adventurers in the sense that you're like a SWAT team. The guards can't handle this shit that goes on in this giant city of monsters mingling with everybody, so you need to go and handle it. You're also there in case, like, the inevitable, like, event of guards getting paid off, or, like, they're not doing their job. And you get paid some big dollars to do this.
So we're there to, like, root out corruption as well, or potentially...
Corruption,
Is that rampant here in this,
In Lowtown, sort of. In Lowtown, there are several different boroughs. The ones noticeable for corruption are Twin Sides, which is where everything is, like, Twin Sides is the typical, like, place to live, like, for humans. Basically every creature out of the player's handbook lives here.
If there was a player's handbook.
Yeah, if there was a
describing the
magical
world.
book that described everything that happened in this world. Cough. So
We're getting meta here.
Yeah, we're getting super meta here. Yeah, there's a magical fucking book that, just...
Well, it would just be weird if the bugbear's like, yeah, so according to the player's handbook. Unless it's what he calls
On
life.
page 146 of the player's handbooks, you will find that halflings are small.
The life book of life. And in Twin Sides, there's some corruption because there are some shittier sides of Twin Sides, like the shittier ghettos. There's a borough that is known as Shadehaven. Shadehaven's really unique, as it caters towards nocturnal creatures, in the fact that there's a magical enchantment where there is never fully daylight. It's just different versions of dawn, evening, and nighttime. That tends to be where a lot of fucked up shit happens, because it's dark, and that's where shady things happen. That's why it's called Shadehaven.
It's easy to do things in the dark.
So yes, you're meant to root out corruption, and basically do assignments and handle shit that normal average guards can't do.
We're like the graduates of the police academy from the 80s movies.
Yeah, shit!
We're like 21 Jump Street.
I never saw that movie.
Pretty good.
It was a TV show back when I was... Back in the day when I was young, me and my crooked old lady finger.
You especially star I almost pointed at you and didn't say your name, and I'm like, great, radio medium.
Oh yeah, I introduced myself as Wednesday. I'm also known as Star.
Yeah, my apologies, I just fucked up.
Just outed me.
Yeah, I'm like, stage name is fucked, thank you. So, you especially know about Shadehaven because as an urchin, that's kind of where people tend to go if you're fucked everywhere. Like, I don't have a home. It's dark. No one will notice me steal.
Yeah, or, I'm also a tiefling, so I was kind of an outcast anyway.
Yeah, they'll look at you, and people in Shadehaven, tieflings are in Shadehaven, so
yeah.
they'll just look at you and be like, yeah, whatever, fucking, you're me.
Just another resident of Shadehaven.
Yeah.
Truth. And so, yeah, the other boroughs, the boroughs are as follows. Fucking, I can't find it. Alright, I can probably remember all of them.
We're rated PG-18.
That's not...
That's
parental guardian 18?
That's not how it works.
Anyway, so
if you're 18, you don't need parental guidance.
Yeah, right? Fucking good now. I'm good.
For real this time?
Yes. The boroughs are as follows. There's Twin Sides, which again is it's the typical village town that you'd come to expect. Like, everybody goes here. Like, everybody from the player's handbook. Dwarves, gnomes, tieflings, dragonborn. All those things that you're not used to. They all collect here. Aside from Twin Sides, because this city also caters to creatures of larger sizes, Goliaths, ogres, trolls, whatever, there's an equivalent of Twin Sides meant for larger creatures. So everything's bigger, wider, the streets are huge, and this is known as Hightown. That's cute, right? Shut up, I'm bad. And Hightown is a lot like Twin Sides for taller people.
Okay.
Towards the side is a place called the Warrens. The Warrens is a place where it's a little bit looser. It's kind of like the rural area. It's where a lot of orc tribes came together and kind of sort of civilized, but still hold on. Like,
yeah, they're orcs, so like, you know.
Tribal.
Like
I don't want to sound racist, but they're orcs.
Yeah, they don't really like living in houses much. You don't know how you manage. Oh wait, you hate orcs, sort of.
I hate my tribe.
Oh, so you want to burn all the
I want to murder all of them. They tried to kill me. I will have my vengeance.
He's the black sheep of the family.
I'm also a foreigner.
You're a disgusting foreigner, and you don't know what's going on here.
Everything is weird.
And new. So, along with these orc tribes, there are also like side little areas where like goblins like meet. It's like little goblin tribal huts and shit. Also, there are packs of like gnolls that also do this thing. It's basically where goblinoids, gnolls, and orcs and some other stuff like to live.
Tribals.
Yeah, it's like a tribal set. It's like a gypsy fucking camp in a larger scale.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot of like fucking
gesticulation
with my hands like I'm a fucking wizard.
He's doing interpretive dance over here.
Don't worry, he's part
Yeah, let me bang my metal dick on a pole and like
Italian.
let you just assume what that means. But yeah.
I think it means somebody had too much cocaine.
Codes. So like
People that do cocaine are fat.
yeah, right? But like the Warrens, the interesting thing about the Warrens is that it's very open, it's very plains. Like it's if you kind of think Native Americans back in ye day, like
before the white man.
Before the white man came and ruined everything with pox blankets and guns.
And buffaloes.
Buffaloes were there already. The white man did not bring buffaloes.
We brought horses, though.
We brought ponies.
So I think it all kind of evens out.
Yeah, whatever.
So it's like plains living, you know, like okay.
And a lot of
huts.
Farms and like a lot of like agriculture and also a lot of like horse ranges. So a lot of not wild, but a lot of domesticated horses live here and like roam and.
So it's like the Midwest, but with orcs and goblins.
And goblins.
So it's like the Midwest. No.
The other borough, Wetburg is actually a swampland. It's a swampland that's connected to a large lake called Lake Lumen, and along with the swampland, it's connected to a forest known as Abelite. So
it's connected to a forest.
It's connected to a forest, and it's basically the segue between Lake Lumen and the forest of Abelite.
Okay.
And in Wetburg, it's a community for wet people, like lizard folk and frog people known as bullywugs or kutoa, or some, I think they're kutoa. Kuatoa, whatever, fucking, and
crazy-ass frogmen.
Crazy-ass frog people. And the last borough is Shadehaven, which I've already described. There are subsections in Twin Sides, like a mercantile area, and also a section of churches, like the little Bible Belt equivalent in Twin Sides, known as the Holy Walk. So now that you have a vague, really bad explanation of your starting town. He slides. Kieg takes something from his pack and he slides it forward, and he looks at the group and says, "These are your 2 assignments that you have to work on so far. They will give you assignments." Quests to do. This is what you were paid and basically like made to do. And currently on this little it's basically like a sheet or like a pad, and
like a piece of paper from somebody's notes.
It's a magical piece of jotted paper. It's really it looks fucking dumb. It's like he scribbled it down like fucking find 10 sheeple. And he puts it on the table, and he looks at all of you and says, "These are your 2 assignments." And the assignments are simply as follows. Bandits have been fucking around in Shadehaven. Go find out about them and stop them. The other one is there are known robberies that are happening also in Shadehaven. And people are getting robbed, and the guards can't do shit because they're inept.
Looks like we're going to Shadehaven.
Yeah. Yes. Go to downtown.
Don't
call it Darktown. They will stab you. He looks at all of you and says, "Well, we've got a group of bandit thugs that are running notoriously in Shadehaven. Also, apparently, I hear that they have they cause trouble in Twin Sides, but not so much. Shadehaven, for the most part. Or we need to figure out these robberies. What do you guys want to do?
Where are the robberies taking place? I
Robberies
can't
are
read your handwriting.
Yeah, robberies are taking place in Shadehaven.
So but we're going to Shadehaven
Yes,
no matter what.
you're generally going to Shadehaven
Yeah.
today.
Okay.
Shade it is.
I guess we're going to be doing Law and Order in either
Yeah,
aspect.
it's straight up.
It's just
law and
Mostly a
order.
matter of which we pick first.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, that is
Say-
exactly right. What do you want to do first? Do you want to beat up some bandits or do you want to knock out
Let's
some
murder some people.
Alright, then you do that in 2.
Yes.
Okay. He looks at the weird mushroom dwarf.
I say we go for the bandits, because that might clear out the robberies.
Maybe. We don't know if they're connected yet.
But if they are, that's 2 birds with 1 stone.
Hell yeah, and you get paid for all of it.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking anyway. They sound like they might be connected.
True.
Yes.
Okay.
When I said let's murder people, I meant the bandits.
Yeah, people are involved with everything.
We're still going to kill them!
People do a lot of things. People work at fucking,
Krispy Kreme across the
yeah,
street.
they work at the donut shop across the fucking whatever.
Yeah, but we're going to murder these bandits. I shouldn't have to explain this. Come on!
Okay.
So we're going to Shade Town. That's what that
Well,
sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Bandits, but we have to return them though.
Return the bandits?
No, the loot.
Says
Because-
who?
What-
It's not government-owned property.
What loot? I didn't
People.
see anything. Just calm your tits. Let's
Yeah, calm your rogue cleric tits.
yeah.
All right.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, so Kieg stands up and he just nods. He says, "Finish your drinks and finish your food, and we'll head out to Shadehaven. I'll brief you on the way there."
Hey, let's bounce.
Okay.
So we're walking.
Yeah, we're walking. Fuck it, y'all need exercise. I think that one dwarf. And when I say that one dwarf, I have to specify. When I say that one dwarf, I mean the shifty one that George is playing specifically. The other one's Mushroom Dwarf. You start walking, and we're going to Shadehaven, but we're taking a stop at a bar in Twin Sides first, because that was the most recent ransacking that they had done.
Okay, so we're at a different bar now.
Yes, but it's
Okay.
not very, you walk through Twin Sides, and some of you might be familiar with this part of town. George's character, which, what the hell is your character's name again?
Gromhan?
You say that like you don't know what your Gromhan?
I don't know how to pronounce.
Then why would you...
But then make up your own pronunciation.
I name a character Twizzledick
Okay.
with Z's and Q's.
Gromhan.
My character's literally named the Future.
Yeah, it's really easy to pick out. So,
Gromhan.
Gromhan.
Gromhan. So Gromhan and I'm so bad I don't even remember the tiefling.
Oh, it's Acatha.
Acatha. All right. So Gromhan and Acatha may know this bar. It's a bar known as the Broken Barn. You may not have been here. It's pretty well known, but mostly you guys just kind of go to the Flailing Goblin, because who wouldn't want to go to a place called the Flailing Goblin?
I like to think they have one of those inflatable wavy arm things with a
no,
goblin.
The sign over the door has a goblin being held up upside down and just flailing around like an idiot.
With windmill arms,
Yeah,
like old lady lawn ornaments.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's what I like to think it has.
So as soon as you walk up to the Broken Bar or the Broken Barn, you notice that it is in fact pretty fucked up. The windows are broken. Everything kind of looks really trashed. As you walk in, it's empty. The bar is just desolate, and there's a reason. There are broken furniture pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that there might have been alcohol stains on the wall from somebody grabbing a bottle and throwing it, or everything looks generally fucked up. Right away, you see an old grizzled man behind the barkeep. He looks kind of pissed off for obvious reasons.
Wait, behind the barkeep or the bar?
Shut up, I have word issues. The barkeep is behind the bar, that's why he's a barkeep.
Yeah, but you said behind the barkeep.
Shut up, his name is he's a bar give now. He gives things. Shut up, he does! So the barkeep looks really grim. He's very, obviously upset. He kind of looks like Wilfred Brimley. Like, he's got that mustache and the beard, and he might
Diabetes.
He got the diabetes.
Diabetes.
And you also notice a demure, thin human woman walking around, also kind of tiptoeing. You see her sweeping glass, and that's it. What do?
I'll go up to the barkeep.
Okay.
And ask him, "Hey, barkeep, how's it going?"
Wilfred
How
Brimley.
is it going?
How's it going?
That's what you ask when he's clearly recovering from his bar being destroyed. You ask, "How's it going?"
He turns to you.
I quietly
and
slip him some coin.
he looks to you, shocked that you, obviously don't read the room. And then he looks at the gold, really confused, whatever. He just takes it, and it just disappears in behind the counter.
Mark off the gold you just spent.
How much gold did you give him?
1.
You gave him a gold piece for no reason. He's about to take it because everything sucks right now.
Yeah. All right.
He'll take what he can get.
For repairs and stuff.
1 gold isn't
You
going to
didn't
do
tell
all
him
that
that?
much.
You didn't
Don't
tell him
matter.
at all. You just slid him gold. He just looked at it for a second, wondering, waiting for you to, say something stupid, I want a drink, or tell me things. And after a while, you just stare at him kind of dumbly, and he just slides it into a...
I didn't get to that part yet.
He looks at you, and he's like, "What do you mean, how am I doing? Everything's, my
It
bar is fucked."
Seems like last night something happened or something.
You're damn right something happened.
Can you give
happened
us
or
any information?
Well, that's the thing you're gonna discover with George is everything's a thing.
Or a something, or some variant, or eventually
There has to
Chinese
be-
sounding garbage and give him
It has to be
gibberish.
vague, so he could give us more random
But
shit.
we already know what happened. Bandits destroyed his tavern.
So I push past the
It could be a
dwarf.
fight.
Alright.
I push past the dwarf, and I'm like, so we heard that you guys got ransacked, and clearly what we heard was right. So is there any information you could give us that could maybe lead us in the right direction, or did you see anything? Did anybody see anything?
He looks at you. He's kind of sour, everything. He's just exhausted. He's tired. He probably hasn't slept. You can kind of see that he's got
I have a charisma of 19.
You're damn. I'm pretty. And he does look at you with a bit of interest, and he kind of looks at you warily. He just looks at you up and down, and he's like, "Who are you?" He doesn't know who you guys are.
Did we get cool badges?
You do. You have cool little badges that signify that you're aces. You
So
just haven't shown them
I
yet.
point to my left breast, and I say I'm with the aces, and we were sent here to investigate.
Gives a knowing sigh, and he's like, "Oh, thank God, the guards have been absolutely useless. They just kind of go like, 'What happened?' And I tell them, and they're just like, 'Okay,' and then they go away."
At least we're able to do something about
Of course,
it.
he didn't get a good introduction when we have a dwarf just walk up. Sup?
Sup, Brett?
Here, have a gold.
Why? Gold. Okay. So he
Everyone
looks
likes
at
gold.
he looks at you. He lingers a little bit, just kind of you could tell.
You're
that
pointing
if
at
he
me,
was-
but I'm just gonna let everybody know he's pointing at me.
Yeah, I'm fucking.
Acatha.
Shut up, radio medium. I'm not used to this. He points at Acatha, and he looks at you with a lingering eye. You could tell if he wasn't so fucking tired and miserable, he'd probably be vaguely interested because you're a pretty person generally.
I got some good knockers.
Yeah, you apparently got some huge titties. Oh, I'm gonna get flamed by every
Here, I'll say it.
belligerent woman.
I'll say it. I have some huge titties.
Sweet, I get a free fucking pass.
And since I do, I can say that.
Truth. So he looks at you and he says, "Well, all right, since you all look capable," and he gives a weird look to the mushroom dwarf.
Why is everybody giving me that look?
Because you smell like shrooms.
Because you smell like dirt and shrooms and moss and shit.
You smell like a
You
hippie.
smell like an alleyway if the alleyway was covered in woods.
I was gonna say he smells like that blanket that your grandma gives you when you're
That's been in the
cold.
basement
Yeah,
for
you're
5
like
years.
Grandma, I'm cold. And you get this musty fucking blanket.
Grandma, there's mold everywhere. It keeps you warmer.
Well, now we're talking about the futures, Grandma.
So he leans in. He like lifts his hefty arm and like leans it on the bar. And again, you can tell he's fucking exhausted. And he stares at your badge and he's like, "Well, we last night a bunch of humans came in and we didn't really think about it that much. It's just." It's a bar. People come in, and he looks at you and he says, "Yeah, we got ransacked by a bunch of humans. They were a little rowdy, but they bought a lot of drinks, so I didn't really think of it. And then they started really, really looking at my barmaids a little too heavily. They didn't mess with my niece over there." And he looks at the woman who was just cleaning up, and she lifts her head and just nods, but she's a little shaken. Because last night sucked. He looks at her and she says, like, "Yeah, they were looking at my niece Thalia. They didn't do anything to her. They didn't, like, they did the typical thing. They would just, like, heckle her, like, swat at her butt, and whatever. She can handle that. But they were looking at they looked at my other barmaids. Right as he says my other barmaids, you hear a crash, and a door opens, and you see this large, well-built orc woman step from the back room. She's kind of pretty. Like, she's not, like, just ugly. She doesn't got the butterface going on, like you might imagine an orc. And she just kicks the door open, and she just stomps through, and she looks pissed. And just as she hears the barkeep say that, she's like, "Yeah, they looked at me and fucking, like, they were just being fucked up. They were just racist as shit. They called me, like, halfy and, like, knife ear. It was fucking awful. God, it was fucking terrible."
But do orcs even have pointy ears?
They do in this world.
Okay.
And she just looks like super pissed. She's already worked up. You can kind of see it in her face. And she's just like, "Yeah, they came in and fucking, they would, like, as soon as they saw me and Velia, they just started, like, fucking heckling us and just fucking with us. It was just terrible."
Mm-hmm.
The barkeep just sighs and says, "Yeah, when Shala," points to the orc, and our other barmaid Velia.
That is our Sirenscape coughing.
Shit!
It's not any of us. I don't know. I
These
clicked on CD Tavern and it just has people coughing.
the Sickly Tavern!
So, we're gonna go back to the friendly tavern that's almost empty. Because that was just weird.
People are coughing.
And Shala, she looks super pissed, and she was like, "Oh my god," she looks at all of you, and when she hears the name Velia, her mood, like, kind of, like, sinks, and, like, you can kind of see her get a little reserved. Even the other barmaid, Thalia, immediately just looks away and just starts shuffling off. And the barkeep just, even, you can look at it, if you look at his expression, it's just sunken. It's very sad, but he's also kind of, like, gripping the bar top.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, there's just that somber moment.
George gives them all money.
Yeah, gold will fix your life.
So I'm assuming by this sullen silence, they either took her or killed her.
Like, the silence continues, and they just sort of look away, and Wolford Brimley just kind of coughs and just says, "In a way, it's kind of worse."
Worse.
Oh no.
They ate her?
What?
I don't know if he said raped or ate, but I was
Both.
thinking they probably...
Probably didn't eat her. They're a bunch of humans.
They're humans.
Well, they
they
could
don't...
be cannibals.
Everything's going to be...
Darktown!
Darktown represent.
Well,
DT!
well, here's the thing.
DT, what's side?
That's kind of how you're naming shit anyway.
Yeah.
Wetville. Wetberg.
Hightown.
Sliptown! Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up. These are all names on the fly, and I...
Tribeville.
Tribeberg.
Goblin City.
And
The human place.
the human
Take
settlement
over.
too. So again, they look a little grim.
Yeah,
And
let's
obviously,
back to the rape.
We've known this. Like, as you said, Wolford Brimley, who you haven't really asked the name of. I've just been calling Wolford.
It's not important right now.
No, Wolford Brimley, diabetes sad. And they all seem very, very hesitant to really talk about it.
Listen, we can't help if we don't know everything that's going on. And we are trying to help.
You had said that, like, well, we need help. And
No, we need information.
Yeah, information.
So we can help.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. I'm not proficient there.
Nope.
So that's just straight charisma. 19!
All right. The barkeep just kind of grunts and says, eventually they just got really rowdy and just started breaking shit, causing a typical fight. There weren't that many patrons outside of them, so it was just them rioting. Velia, our halfling barmaid, disappeared. And we only found out later that so did one of the patrons upstairs. It was a bad scene, and nobody could really hear. Nobody could really know. It's just Science-Gate laughing, somebody in the background. Bad things! And nobody really
Tragedy.
noticed. Nobody really noticed or heard. And
I could play the bugbear.
no, it's not that kind of scene.
I'm waiting for because we got a bugbear friend. I'm super excited.
And so she was brought upstairs, and nobody really noticed in the commotion. Nobody saw. And
I know where this is going.
later, when everything was starting to calm down and we started to get everybody out, we got the guards. That guy was the last one to leave from the upstairs. And when we went back upstairs, it was a bit of a mess. We found her clothes in tatters. Everything was trashed.
Can you give me a description of this guy? I plan to make him suffer.
Well,
Because we're going after these guys regardless, but...
We could do him slow.
Oh, I'm going to take so much enjoyment out of peeling off his skin.
Torture.
Well,
Well, I am an orc. Barbarism naturally comes to me.
yeah, you're just like, yeah, some paladin.
Hey, I kill evil, but I also like...
what's your god? Blood Nut the Murderer!
Blood for the blood god.
Yeah, alright. And, he looks at you and he says, well, if you want to know a description of the guy, we never really got to see much because we were all too busy freaking out, but, you can ask her. She's upstairs. And,
I'll talk to her.
And, alright. Find out next episode, how everything turns out. Maybe they had a really rousing game of paddywhack. We'll find out next episode.
What the fuck is paddywhack?
If it's anything like Tiddlywinks, I have no idea.
Who knows?
Find out in the next episode, yeah.